Good morning from Washington, D.C., and good afternoon to our friends across the Atlantic and around the world. I'm Fred Kempe, President and CEO of the Atlantic Council, and I am delighted to welcome you all to the EU-US Future Forum, a unique convening of leaders and stakeholders in a dialogue to develop a new transatlantic agenda and momentum for EU-US cooperation. I'm delighted to be here with you, live in Atlantic Council headquarters in DC, as we kick off 3 days of programming dedicated to the relationship between the United States and the European Union. I'm joined in our studio this morning by His Excellency Stavros Lambrinidis, the Ambassador of the European Union to the United States.
Thank you, Fred. Dear friends, it is a real pleasure to be here, and it has been a pleasure for us at the European Union Embassy to the United States to partner with the Atlantic Council to set up this fantastic lineup of high-level, timely, and thought-provoking transatlantic conversations today, tomorrow, and Friday. We know you're all Zoom fatigued by now, and so are we, I guess. We aspired to put together something quite different, lively, quick-paced, deep diving, and frankly fun. Not one more endless talk shop, but an opportunity to chart a concrete course for our present and our future together.
And we are doing an important moment in history. We're about to kick off the EU-US Future Forum, and it has been organized at a quite important time. The Atlantic Council celebrates its 60th anniversary later this year, and as our name suggests, the transatlantic relationship has been the heart of our work since day one. And the Treaty of Paris, the agreement to create the European coal and steel community, the very beginnings of today's EU, was signed on April 18th, 1951. So 70 years ago, it went into force just a year later. Now we at the Atlantic Council, with our partners in Europe, are doubling down on transatlantic relations, on Europe-US relations across our 14 programs and centers, and with our newly launched Europe Center, led by Director Ben Haddad and his amazing team, who have worked tirelessly with the European Union delegation to organize this forum. The transatlantic relationship is rooted in a deep and abiding history of common democratic values and shared strategic interests. And the same holds true today. But we can't rest on our laurels or ignore the challenges that lay ahead. For Americans, the European Union will continue to be a partner of first resort as we face rapid technological change, the global climate crisis, a more assertive China, and other existential questions. As this happens, the Atlantic Council will be here to build the platform where allies and partners can exchange frank views, seek consensus, and dream big to shape the future. We have a unique opportunity in 2021 with a post-COVID-19 recovery in sight, a new American administration in place. We're reinvigorating the transatlantic relationship and asking important questions. What do we expect from each other? What can we learn from each other? And most importantly, what can we achieve together in common cause on the international stage?
Yet before we begin to answer these questions, we must first remember the foundations upon which they are built. So Fred, as you just said, indeed, the European Union and the United States have a friendship that is imperative to the success of both, and a friendship that has been shared for over 7 decades. The EU traces its origins to May 9th, 1950, when Robert Schumann proposed the creation of the European coal and steel community as a method of collaboration with a goal of maintaining peace on the European continent. It was not an economic agreement, it was a peace agreement. We call this date Europe Day. And it is no coincidence that this flagship conference is taking place on the doorsteps of Europe Day 2021. The Schumann Declaration emerged directly from the Marshall Plan, in which the United States, as is well known, pledged its support to European recovery. From 1950 onward, the coal and steel community grew and eventually formed into what we now call the European Union. And the bond between the EU and the US has only strengthened. Together, dear friends, we share the world's largest trade relationship by far, contribute the most in global aid by far, and work to ensure that our democratic ideals and the guiding notion of human dignity prevail across a changing world. As both sides of the Atlantic continue to fight this virus by adapting our social norms and administering vaccines, we now need, once again, one might argue more than ever, to rebuild a global system to come out of the COVID crisis stronger. Our relationship was founded out of global dire straits, and it continues to strengthen with every new global challenge and opportunity. We are, in short, stronger together.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. And to better illustrate the reality of this relationship and the importance it plays in times like these, we are proud to bring you this forum, in which we will explore a variety of topics that are paramount to understanding and developing our ideas and policies. Over the next 3 days, we will share expert insights, tackle problems, generate new ideas, and help to identify policy recommendations as we explore the most important elements of the US-EU relationship. This will go from the future of tech and inclusive transatlantic recovery to democracy, rule of law, and climate change. We'll also feature some exciting areas of transatlantic cooperation you may not expect from a gathering like this one, such as space exploration, combating organized crime, and cutting-edge medical research.
Now, to highlight these topics, Fred, and foster productive and informative discussion on each one, the Future Forum will be showcasing over 70 leaders and experts from both sides of the Atlantic in a variety of formats to ensure that all of you who have joined us get the best possible experience. Our amazing lineup includes Commission Vice Presidents and Commissioners of the European Union, heads of state and foreign ministers of our member states in Europe, members of the cabinet of President Biden, US senators and congressional representatives, business leaders, media members, key figures of academia and think tanks, and many more in between. These people are excellent representatives of the transatlantic relationship. They feel it in their heart, in addition to presenting it in their work. And together, we'll elucidate on the challenges facing us today, the plans we have for tomorrow, and the imperative nature of maintaining the strength of our bonds. Now, as I said earlier, Fred, the EU and the US are stronger when we work together. And through this forum, all of you will come to not only understand this, but grasp the importance, I hope, of it. And in doing so, turn your mind to what's ahead with a desire to tackle the challenges facing us as one. It is, after all, the Future Forum.
I'm so glad you put it that way, Mr. Ambassador, because this is teamwork. It's not just teamwork between US and EU leaders, it's teamwork of our people, and it's the teamwork of our two teams that put together Absolutely. This amazing lineup. The Future Forum will be taking place over 3 days from 8:45 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time on each of these 3 days, today, Thursday, and Friday. For updates and to learn more about the agenda, go to atlanticcouncil.org. It's not too late to register.
Yes, we keep saying this, but it really isn't. There's a lot of talking ahead. So when you do register, you will have the opportunity to download the Atlantic Council event app on which this forum is being hosted, where you can interact with the panels and ask your questions. Meanwhile, be sure to engage in the ongoing discussion by using the hashtag EUFF 2021.
And to give you more information, here are our MCs for the day. Benjamin Haddad, the director of our newly launched Europe Center, fearless leader of the EU-US Future Forum in partnership with our friends at the EU delegation, and Leah Scheunemann, deputy director of the Transatlantic Security Initiative within the Scowcroft Center for Strategy and Security. So Ben, over to you.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. We're thrilled to welcome you all at the inaugural EU-US Future Forum. I'm Ben Haddad, the director of the Europe Center at the Atlantic Council. I'm joined today by my fellow MC, Leah Scheunemann, who's deputy director at the Transatlantic Security Initiative at the Atlantic Council's Scowcroft Center for Strategy and Security.
We'll be with you at the Atlantic Council headquarters throughout the first day of the EU-US Future Forum, providing key updates and announcements, letting you know what's ahead, and hopefully having some fun along the way. Now, we know you're not actually here to see us, but before we can get started, a few housekeeping items.
Join the conversation on social media using the hashtag EUFF 2021. As a reminder, you can still register for the event at atlanticcouncil.org and download the Atlantic Council event app. That's where you'll find the complete agenda with live streams, detailed speaker information, and any up-to-date announcements.
The app will also be how we collect audience questions for our different sessions. So go ahead, take a minute to register online and download the Atlantic Council event app. We'd wait for you, but we have a packed agenda ahead and we look forward to seeing you in the app.
Today, we'll highlight the transatlantic ties that bind us, the history and values that unite us in the digital age with a fantastic lineup. Stay tuned for a conversation between former US Secretary of State Madeleine Albright and Professor Timothy Garton-Ash on embracing our transatlantic history and a dialogue between European Commissioner Vice President for Values and Transparency Vera Jourova and Senator Chris Murphy.
We'll also dive deep into transatlantic strategies for countering digital authoritarianism, building a digital policy agenda, and managing the latest emerging technologies and their geopolitical impact.
We'll feature the best and the brightest in the transatlantic community over the next 3 days. And we'll start with one leader who's leading the charge on defending our shared values and fostering a resilient transatlantic relationship. To introduce our first speaker, I'll turn the floor over to Damon Wilson, Executive Vice President of the Atlantic Council.